That always makes me crazy because you say football, and I'm like, I bet he means soccer.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh no, no. I watch your college football. I've actually got my football on at the moment. It's a big game over here, so I've got that on, and yeah, I watch. I'm a fan of the NFL as well. So,
Oh, cool.
but it's so yeah. I basically keep up. I'm one of them people who have it on a phone, on a TV, on a tablet, on a laptop. I'm
Oh,
pretty bad with it.
you're
So
the guy at the bar
yeah.
that's watching all the game, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty bad with it. And thankfully, no, I'm not even the worst. I got one of my best pals. He could tell you about anything. He travels the world to watch. He's one of them lucky guys who's got family everywhere,
Yeah.
especially in the States, and he's just always over just to watch any sport. So,
Yeah, no,
but enough of the sport.
but I do have a couple friends like that, and I try not to talk football with them after the game because they get so into it. They'll be like, "All right," but you can't do that with a 3-4 formation. Everybody, we've got our hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they're talking about at all. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I've got a few of them, and I know I'm in trouble if somebody drops like a 5 minute voice note in
okay,
a
right,
chat, and I'm like, someone's pissed. Like, so you know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
like
exactly,
that's always a bad one. Thank God on WhatsApp now you can up the speed, so I don't have to sit there for 5 minutes listening
right,
to them
right,
moaning.
yeah, exactly,
So
right.
Do
but
you
no, cool.
have
Well,
a
thank you.
favorite team that you follow, or is it just all of it?
Well, in America, I am an LA Chargers fan, and no one else is, so that's good. Um, so, and it's a constant. How can I put it? Snatching defeat away from the jaws of victory. So it's the other way around.
Yeah,
So I mean, I torment myself for a few months watching them.
yeah.
So yeah.
Know what you mean. Yeah.
We're Baltimore Ravens fans for the most part, but
Oh,
since we ever
okay.
can't make it into the playoffs here lately, then we have to pick somebody else.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think Ravens are going to have a good one this year. I think. I'm intrigued.
Right.
I'm just excited for it to start. Like,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
the killer over here. I get to like 6 p.m. to about 12, and then I can't do anymore. Like, just we start to get a bit tired.
Know what you mean.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but, um, but no, cheers, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Oh no, it's great. Yeah.
God, yeah. So what has gone on over there in the water in the UK for metal this year?
There's so many great battles. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
like,
it's interesting. There's a lot. It's a weird one for me personally because I feel like as much as there's so many great bands kicking off over here, we kind of do our own sort of thing. We're not we just we're kind of taking I feel like a little bit of a different path.
Mhm.
We never get asked to go out on any tours with any of these sort of bands. And, it sucks. We'd like to be included, but I think with us, we're just a few years. We're a little bit older than the upcoming bit, but the scene that was before us, we were too young, so we're kind of like a little bit in the middle. But
Gotcha.
there's some really great bands popping up, and as long as people are being creative and expressing themselves,
Yeah.
it's it's a good thing, and it's better to be doing something positive uh with your time and energy than something fucking shit and negative.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, the stoner sludge tag, I don't understand that at all. I mean, like we were saying.
No, man, we don't. Um, it's so I think so. Myself and Angus were I joined a band over here called Hang the Bastard, who are kind of sort of crossover with a bit of I Hate God and a bit of Crowbar and this and that. And that's the only way because honestly, I couldn't tell you uh, more than five stoner or sludge bands. It's not my sort of field, not
Right.
my world. But we get compared to it a lot. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it was on Metal Encyclopedia or the Metal Archives. We didn't do that. We
Yeah.
didn't put that up by it. And it seems like stunt people. I did watch like these guys online doing a review of it, and they couldn't let it go. They were like obsessed by it, and they kept coming back to it. And I was like, you're thinking about it. You're probably thinking a lot about it more than I am. I just think it's heavy music,
Right.
heavy metal, whatever. But it is funny. I do see a lot of the time people, you know, will spend a lot of times with their reviews either doing a paragraph or a 5 minute spoken section about it. And I'm like, I don't think we're doing anything that's so like, oh my God, like, what is this? And then I recently read a review where it was like, the guy was trying to pigeonhole what the sound was, and he was like, they sound like this and this and that. Then he gave the album 10 out of 10, but the originality part, he gave a 6. And I was like, well, hold up. You've just spent a whole paragraph not knowing what genre we're in. So we've got to have something. But that doesn't bother me. I just think we're heavy, Grew up, Megadeth, Metallica, Nevermore, Death, Cynic, Queensryche, and that's, we just let it inspire us. But I do know what you mean.
I hear a lot of Mustaine style or Kill 'Em All style in the leads. Is he super into that stuff, like the old school?
Well, Angus is big time into like Metallica, more so Metallica. I'm probably the biggest like Megadeth fan, but I'm a bigger Metallica fan than I'm Megadeth fan. But I find probably my writing style a bit more kind of lends a bit more to Megadeth. But Angus is like a big like Jakey Lee fan. Like these, I think Jakey Lee's sort of one of his sort of messiahs. But then on the other hand, he definitely looks up to Marty. Marty's work in Megadeth is, legendary. And I think that's a big thing that he likes, kind of having, he's not like a shred guy where it's just like 1,000 notes and you're like, what the fuck? He likes to put melody and he likes to tell a story of his solos. And that, I appreciate massively.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hear the kind of pentatonic. Yeah, definitely. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I think you guys have a way of throwing these style and tempo changes into one song with somehow like it doesn't sound all over the place. It sounds like a beginning, a middle, and an end. What's the secret to that?
I think a big thing that's helped us is that two of us really, with this new album anyway, two of us really wrote the album. I'd say probably 65% of riffs, 70% of riffs are Angus's, and the other lot are mine. And I kind of go, Angus, I've got this really simple, dumb riff. Here you go. And then he adds all the kind of glitz and glam to it. And so it's so many bands, a lot of the music's written by one core person. And you're just going to have what that one person wants to hear. Whereas us, we really try to kind of express both of ourselves. On the album before, the drummer we had then, who we've kind of formed the band with, he was really great at like structuring songs. And he would write the occasional riff, which was always, it always helps if someone's going to drop a riff here and there. Right. And I guess a bit of the Lars Ulrich thing. That's why Lars has so many writing credits somehow in Metallica. Yeah. He would always suggest, this is what I think we should do, and this is where we should go, and this is how we should do it. Whereas he sadly left us about 2 months before we went to record the album. But thankfully, we had James come in, and James's thing's very different. James is like, I'm a drummer. I don't write songs, I write drums, And so it's now, I guess, on that side of things, where this album is pretty much already written by the time James did come in. So I think on the next album, if he starts coming up with patterns and, could we write something around that? I think that's more likely than him kind of bringing in the guitar riff, because he can't play any guitar at all. So I just think what it is with us, it's, like you say, we have a start, middle, and an end. But between those three things, it's like, okay, we can take this off somewhere, but then we know where we're bringing it back to. And then the second half, we break it off and we can go out there. But always, if we're going to do that, we always try to bring it back to something you might have heard earlier on, be it a lyric, be it a riff or a pattern or something that kind of goes, oh, right, right, we're here again. But yeah, I just think it is just essentially two mates who just sit there and this is what I have and what do you have, and we're having a writing session next week, and it's always exciting to go. We kind of sit there and we go through the 50 riffs that we've each got, and go, no, shit, that's good, keep shit. If we say it's shit, we will just delete it. Like, not even if it's not good enough, then it won't ever be good enough.
Right.
So it's just like, let's get rid of that and then clear that out of our mind. So yeah, it's good to have two of you. Like, we certainly know what Urne sound is, and I write the simpler dumb riffs. In case anyone's wondering, I'm writing the ones that we could all play. And Angus is doing the ones that are a little bit, you have to use that a little bit more.
Three pieces. So I'm such a big fan of 3-piece bands. There's so much you can do back and forth between the bass and the guitar with that. It's great.
Yeah, and I think that's something we need to start. I think we'd do a little bit more on the next album. Live is a bit different because live, I do vocals pretty much. We don't have another person who's going to help do it, and I try to keep it quite steady what I'm doing baseline wise. But I do think it's something that we can certainly play around with a bit more going forward, the kind of call and response thing. But you've got to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
But mate, I'd never had been in a 3-piece before, and honestly, the difference, the stress levels have dropped right down. Let me tell you, the stress levels are. I mean, I wish I'd always done it. I've been in bands with 5 people, 4 people, but and it works, and we've managed to make it sound very big and full live, which is a big thing. It doesn't sound. We've done well with it.
Yeah, I had to go back and listen to Serpent and Spirit. And if you put that one next to this one, I would say with Joe, he does a lot more fills and a little bit. Was that his idea, or did y'all kind of decide on that? Because it's really neat.
Sorry, the new drummer's called James. By the way, so I'm Joe. With James, it was like, there's what we kind of want. Some of the songs we had kind of already had demos for, and it was just like, if you could kind of maybe follow that as much as you can, but make it a bit tighter in. He's as good as our previous drummer was. This new guy's a lot tighter, and it was kind of like, well, 80% of it we want like this, but for that 20%, do whatever you want. And I think he's got the perfect balance for us. He will honor the song. He doesn't do anything that's, a moment for his ego. He honors the song first and foremost. And if there's a part where we go, maybe you can try something there, up to you. Or if we do have something in mind, me and Angus are pretty much like, certainly Angus, he's pretty much like, nah, this is kind of what I want. And like, bless him, Angus's worst thing is, you're about to go and record the song, all good, and Angus goes, and you're like, he wants to change something. I know it. I've been with him for so long. I know if there's a look, and I'm like, what is it? No. It's nothing. It's nothing. That always means there is something. And he goes, can you try this? And he's just got like no rhythm. It's funny when he tries to explain something. It looks like someone body popping. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So, but no, it's James smashed it. And we had to go and play 2 big European festivals, and he had little to no time to learn how to do them. And then we were like, okay, do you want to join the band? Okay. In about 7 weeks, we're going over to America, by the way, and we're going to record with Joe from Gajira. Can you learn these songs? Okay, yeah. And as well as being a teacher, having a child, and having to learn all this new music, I think it was pretty taxing for him. But he did a great job.
Wow, that's really admirable. Yeah. How about just before I forget, the name of the band? Where does the name of the band come from?
It's just a European spelling for funeral urn, but obviously we try to make it look a bit fancy. And in the long run, as English-speaking people in the rest of Europe, it's spelt that way basically. And a lot of a lot of non-speaking English countries, it's spelt that way. I'm not saying all of them, but a large percentage. But to the English speaking, it sort of looks like urine. So at the time, you know, we kind of I didn't really think about that too much. And it's always funny. I always see online once a week, you think you've got the person who thinks they've been the first one to tell you. It's always once a week. And I'm like, oh God. And they think it's deadly funny and cracking up at their own jokes. And I'm like, yeah,
Cracking up at their own jokes.
fantastic. Yeah, and it's just like delete that, you know, whatever. Get rid of it. But it's just like I say, in Europe, I mean, people would make sense, and certainly, you know, France and Germany and Austria, you know, it's like it's especially when it comes to voting season over there, because it's also, I think it also in France, as well as it meaning a funeral urn, it also means a voting box. So when it comes to voting season, we're forever tagged in fucking French politics, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, it's interesting, but
You know, there's that
yeah,
phrase. There's that phrase in the business world. There is no I in team. You could make yours. There is
yeah,
no I in earn. You know,
yeah.
fuck off,
But
stop. Yeah, you know.
yeah, someone dropped that today. Literally, I saw it on where is it? A friend posted up a picture of him with his new shirt, and he was just like, "There is no I in or whatever," and I was just like, "Fuck, you know." But it is what it is. I'll live. We're doing well. We're doing well enough.
Yeah.
I love the cover art that you chose for this. It kind of embodies that first scream when you yell, "Where do the memories go?" I just see that there. Who came up with this great idea of this like explosion?
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was my idea, and what I will say is we were umming and ahhing, really struggling to get something right. And I like to use, like the last albums, it's a picture that a friend took, and we edited out some bits to kind of make it look a bit like some Easter eggs that people might notice. But I like, on any piece of artwork where it's been something, a project that myself and Angus have done, we've always used a photograph, like the first Urne EP, which isn't my favourite thing we've done by a long shot, but it's a picture of like a big fire pit, which I took, and we edited it and made it look kind of like a bit, whatever, a bit different. So we were trying to use an illustrator who we've eventually used for some of the t-shirt designs, but it just wasn't, I had the concept, I had the idea in my mind, and it just wasn't hitting it. Every time I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, it's great, but it's not, it doesn't feel like I feel about the album.
Right.
And I had this, thank God for the Guardian newspaper. I had this article saved on my phone, a paper talking about this oceanic photographer called Rachel Talabart. And sorry, Man United have just taken the lead. Sorry, I've got sports on. So Rachel Talabart, sorry to all my users and my followers who don't watch Man United. So Rachel Talabart, and I had it, and I was like, God, I wanted it to be for the third album. So I was just like, I'm in an R and kept looking at it, and I was like, the color scheme feels like what I feel when I listen to this album. It's cold, grey. It hasn't got flickers of color anywhere, and I was just a bit like, oh, fucking hell, okay. And then the power of the massive wave, and I think it's only taken about 4 miles away from where we live.
Oh wow!
Me and my family, and I was like, I need to feel the power, and I sound like I'm doing a speech, and I sent it to our manager, and I was like, what do you think? And he was like, yeah, like, get Angus to do a mock-up of it, and we'll go from there. And did the mock-up, apart from it being high res, we did a mock-up of what you see. And it was, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is it. That is what I picture. That is what I picture with this album. And yeah, we reached out to her, a lady called Rachel Talabart, and she I think she was quite shocked by it, especially a metal band approaching her. This, this kind of middle-aged lady who doesn't have anything to do with metal or
With
anything.
metal, right?
And yeah, and like she was happy, and we kind of sorted out an agreement for us to use it, and here we are. And I think it's perfect. I love it. I feel like I love it even more because there's so many artworks now that is the same thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that I feel like we've gone for an actual picture and it go fucking hell. And if I was looking at 10 different new metal like albums that have come out, for me, and I know it's easy to say because it's my thing, I'd be intrigued by that. What is in that? What is behind that artwork? And I'm really, really happy we managed to get that. And as our backdrop as well, it looks amazing. And we recently did a festival over here, and there was a breeze, so it kept looking like the waves of the artwork were like kind of flowing, and I was like, that looks cool. But yeah, so Rachel Talabar is her name, and I mean she's very highly respected in her field. So yeah,
When I first
never
saw
met
it,
her.
I thought of Isis Panopticon, that cover.
Oh, okay.
And then
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
well, they
Yeah.
don't sound like Isis, but that's that hugeness, that vast
Yeah.
weakness. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. Angus recently put it through an AI thing and asked for it to expand it, and it looked insane. I know AI is a very dangerous game, but it looked insane to see this fake thing that's been built around it, and it looked incredible. But yeah, it's I'm really glad people like it, and I just think it stands out. And whenever I see anything on the internet with it, I'm always like, fucking hell, yeah, I'm really glad that's ours,
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So tell me about the concept of, a feast on sorrow. I think I'd rather starve on sorrow.
Well, what it is to do with, I mean, the whole concept of the album is I had two relatives who had dementia, Alzheimer's, and it is the whole album's just a miserable album. If you like the lyrics on it, I put like a foreword in the booklet, like you get a book and there's like a little foreword from the author, and our manager was like, I think you should do this. And I when I kind of, after listening to like 8 tracks of it, I'm like, there's nothing happy about this. There's nothing, you're not going to walk away and go like, yeah, that's like a power anthem and anything. And it was just, for me, it was like, you're going to listen to 8 tracks that are just about a really miserable subject. And once I kind of, that was originally a name of a title of a track. And I was like, that just feels big. A Feast on Sorrow just feels big. And I felt like that really captured the sound and the visual with the artwork. I think when it comes together, I felt like it was probably, I feel like it was the perfect title for this.
I saw that there was the title, the cover, and I started looking through the lyrics, and I was like, oh, they're English. Okay. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
The cold and the rain.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have a lot to be miserable about over here. So yeah, it certainly made sense straight away. Say no more. They're from London.
It was wild. I was listening to you guys in headphones because it kind of helps me get a handle on everything. And that way I can really hear a lot of the lyrics better. And what popped into my head was if only it was like Dumbledore, like that one Harry Potter where he can take his memories out and put them in a thing. I was like, God.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have to worry where they went.
Mate, I tell you, I wish there was a way we could do that, and store people's feelings and memories, and so they won't ever forget what their life was. But yeah, it's it was. I mean, as much as I wish I had something really happy and cheerful to sort of sing about at this time, it just happened to be I was going through some family stuff, and it felt like it was the right thing to do instead of sitting there like just keeping all the thoughts in my head. Like that could be a bad thing, and it's just like at least I can put them out some way. And what better way to do it and then put it into something that you created.
Right. It's something so positive comes out of that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was weird. The whole time I was like, sorry, you might hear my cat kicking off in the background. So I do apologize if you can hear that. Um, I up until the album coming out, I was like, did I do the right thing by doing it about this? Have I done the right thing? And I'm in an R in, and I just wasn't too sure. And then we started to have a really positive response in the way that people connected with the lyrical concept. And it was nice. And we played a couple of shows, and people come up to me and was talking to me, and I was like, "Whoa, this is something I might have to get used to." But then I got a message, a direct message from someone, and it really caught me. It really caught me bad, as did Angus. And I was about to go into a meeting at work, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And Angus, I think, had to have a little walk. And I it was at that moment when I read that person's message to me that I realized I did do the right thing. And that is a positive, that other people can kind of go, yeah, well, I've had to go through this, and I've connected with the album because of this and that. And that is a positive. Even though it's about a very sad, miserable subject,
Right.
there is a positive that people are realizing, okay, like other people have had to go through bits and bobs as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it could reach, people who have gone through that particular type as well as people who are just struggling. I think it could,
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot of people that say, hey, it touched me. Like, I love when you're like becoming the ocean floor. I thought about that for like 3 days. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, what does that mean?
Well, yeah, and it's really, obviously, I mean, we released that, and it's about obviously the pressure and power of the ocean and being crushed and all that. And then fucking God, we released it, and then that submarine disappeared, and you know, and it talks, it was funny how that happened at the same time, and then you realize how powerful the pressure of the ocean can be, and sadly for them people, they just disintegrated. And yeah, it was just yeah, I mean, it was hard. Certain things we had to tie into, and always kind of looking for some inspiration lyrically and vocally. And thankfully for me, we were lucky to be working with Joe from Gajira, and that was an honor because that guy has so many amazing ideas. Even if there was moments like there's the song "Becoming the Ocean," I was really kind of caught with the chorus. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't too sure. And Joe basically come in one morning and was just like, "This is what I think you should do," and started running some lyrics by me and what have you. So Joe can take the credit for that chorus. It was a lot to do with him.
Yeah, I really like what the softer moments you put in really juxtapose the power moments, like the piano intro you put in Feast of Sorrow, or the guitar, acoustic guitar and intro of Peace. But the melodies almost, it sounded like I was right there. It was reminding me of something, and I was wondering if they were melodies that had something to do with the subject matter.
I mean, it's like a weird with a lot of the vocal melodies. Like one thing I can't do, I can't sing fast. I can't shout fast. I don't know how people do it. And it's like, so I just try and catch on to something. And that's one thing I've kind of realized, the way Angus plays guitar, it leaves enough space for me to start like putting my style over. And I always like for it to flow. And quite a kind of almost like, fun enough, like water just flowing. I just like to keep it very simple. But in certain areas, like certain choruses, it certainly it helps that I can kind of I can sing a little bit. I mean, I'm no classically trained singer, but it certainly helps that in certain areas I can just put a little bit of melodic, like clean passages in. But yeah, I think again, I touched on recording with Joe. I just think he made things become a little bit more punchy. like if you listen to some of the last Gojira albums, they're a little bit more hard hitting and a bit more aggressive sounding. And I think he made me do and try a lot more things vocally that aren't on Serpent. And if you listen to Serpent, I think we did it in track order. So by the last track, I'm spent. I sound in a bad way. So on the last track on Serpent Spirit, I'm struggling. But on this, I've learned a bit more. I warmed up a bit more. But Joe made me do different things, and it wasn't always like you need to shout as loud as you can. Maybe do this, maybe do that, and yeah, I benefited from it massively.
That's great. Well, we play a game on the show. Take a little bit of a
Uh-huh.
turn. The game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. So
All right.
the idea of the game is I will give you 5 band names. One of them is fake, and you have to try to guess which one is not real. Okay. And we just keep going until you get it right or we run out of names.
Okay.
Okay. So you ready? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 1, Ravaged by the Yeti. 2, Age Limit 20. 3, Claudia's Greenhouse. 4, Terrible Old Man. And 5, Horny for Blood. Now, I'll go through them as many times as you need, but
What was 4 again?
4 was Terrible Old Man.
Oh fuck! I want that to be a real name. Horny for Blood. Hey, sorry, what was number 3?
All right. 1 is Ravaged by the Yeti. 2, Age
Yeah.
Limit 20. 3, Claudia's Greenhouse. 4,
Claudia's
Terrible Old Man.
Greenhouse.
Claudia's Greenhouse. And 5, Horny for
Yeah.
Blood. So which one?
Claudia's Greenhouse.
Oh, he's right. He got it right out of the blocks. Very good. All the
Cool.
others are real.
Cool.
I can't believe anyone would call their band Age Limit 20. I mean, that's a thrash band from Japan. Terrible Old Man is real. That's death metal from Maine. They have an EP. Horny for Blood is Brazilian thrash. They have a new album called Vomit Thrash. And then Ravaged by the Yeti from Sweden. So,
yes. Okay. I'm really happy with that. Cool.
That's great that you got that. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
just
had some bad
going
names.
I like just going through the metal archives and going just click, click, click with that random band generator thing. Because it's just a matter of time until something ridiculous comes up. And you can't imagine why they chose that name.
There was a band over here, which you might be able to use for a future one if someone's not have heard this before. There was a band which had members of Silosis, who's a big sort of thrash band here, and there was a 2-man side project called Maggot Stuffed Cunt. So there you go.
That's kind of Cannibal Corpse-y. Yeah, I can see that.
It was just like a joke. Do you know what I mean? They were like doing it for like, and they started selling so much merch. And so there you go.
There's a winner. I like it.
Yeah, I think you were right up there with John from Incantation. You guys both got it on the first try.
Right. John picked out, I did one with him, and the one he got, it was Pilsner Wolf. And he said, that's way too cool to be fake or to be real.
Yeah. To be fair, Pilsner Wolf.
Yeah, you can see it on a patch almost. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And do you make them up yourself, the fake ones?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Well. I don't know. Obviously, like Metallica got their name because one of Lars's friends wanted to have that magazine.
Oh, right.
And he was like, "Do I call it Metal Maniacs or Metallica?" And he was like, "Call it Metal Maniacs." And he took Metallica. So someone now,
that's right.
Someone now might take Pilsner Wolf from
there. You go. Yeah. I remember when they first came out because I'm old, and I thought they'll never be on the radio with that name, Metallica. God.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Like, I mean, what does it fucking mean? But Metallica. It's like that just covers the world of everything that we listen to. It works, and thank God it had a good logo. But at the end, when they tied it off,
it's like a Hot Topic logo.
Yeah. It works.
I really enjoyed your video for The Burden with all the
Uh-huh.
red and the hourglass, but I was like, there's color in this. So who kind of chose the color scheme red on that one?
That was mine. It was the one song on the album where I felt a slight different color to grey, white, and black. And just because the opening riff kind of is it is a bit that sort of, I guess a bit stonery, I guess, in a loose term of what we know about it. And I just felt the color I'd listen to if I was listening to it would be a dark orange or a thick red. And I put that towards everyone, and yeah, it worked. So it's like the one bit of color we've had out of anything. All the other like videos and teasers have been pretty like bleak and grey, and then there's this big red video. So yeah, I think it. We had to do that. We had like a couple of days' notice, and we had to do that. And thankfully, we managed to get a studio near us. It was a national rail strike as well, so there was like nothing happening, but there was a studio near us where we managed to get in for about 5-6 hours, and then we made the video.
I have a suggestion for your next video.
God.
I think that you should just fly straight at the stoner sludge and just do nothing but bongs and pot smoke and just give them what they want, Everybody's stoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, loads of greens and purples going along.
Absolutely,
And,
like in the old
not-
Black Sabbath
that's not
videos with
true.
the cheesy, with the witchy kind of,
Yeah,
Just
we'll be on
poke 'em right in
slightly
the
one
top.
side. We'll be on one side of the screen kind of a little bit, and there'll be like a lot of purple and kind of washiness going on over here. Perfect.
like acid
But,
witch or something. Yeah.
yeah, we will legitimately don't know. So it when I see it on like I said, when I see it in reviews, I'm like, I fucking don't know where. I don't know. I don't know if that's just people finding it easier just to tie us to something. Then we get the one we get is metalcore, and I think people associate that of what that genre has become. But I look at it during the 90s where you had your like At the Gates, and I'm not saying now metalcore, but early Shadows Fall, where it wasn't. I guess it was the original versions of what it is, where the songs were like 7 or 8 minutes. The original All That Remains, their first album, I think like 1999, and
Right.
where the songs let's pop up. But now what that genre's become, it's not. I mean, they get it called metalcore, and it's just shit music. And but the original roots of metalcore, I get it. Some people are like, oh no, you don't sound like that, and I'm like, no, but the original versions of that band, then that genre that was happening, we might do. Like, so I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I get it.
If you could pick yourself out like 3 or 4 bands, whether they're in the past or the present, like to put Urne with and go on a fantasy tour, who would you pick?
I'd have Metallica headlining. I mean, even though I know it's a bit of a mess now, but it's just the feather in the cap, and I want to see what that world is like.
Yeah.
I would say, Metallica, Gojira. I want to make it all metal. I was going to think about whacking something like Chris Stapleton on there just to have a good time for myself. But no, I'm going to keep it metal. Metallica, Gojira, Testament, and Death Angel.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'd have Death Angel.
Awesome.
Fellow, our guitarist is Filipino, and it was funny last year. We both played the same festival, but they're American Filipino, and it was like watching a British Filipino speak. It was just like 2 different worlds. Like they were like, "You need to listen to this," and it was just like, "Say hello." I was like, "This is fucking mad," and it was weird, a weird dynamic watching like these 2 or 3 guys who look the same, sound completely different. So yeah, I'd have Death Angel on there. So yeah, Metallica.
I was just playing the Ultravons for Stace the other day. I was like, the average age was like 16 when they made this. Can you believe it? And
Well,
when you listen to it,
with
it's so great. But like, there's spots where they do like five measures, And you know what I mean? It's like they didn't really even know how to like song structure, but they didn't care. They just were like, fuck it, you know.
Right.
It was
And
great.
I think the original drummer was younger than then. I think he was like 2 or 3 years younger.
Yeah.
And it's mad to think. And it's weird because they're like the youngest thrash band that's still going, and they smash it. You know, like that's such a fucking good live band. So yeah, that would be for me. So yeah, Metallica, Gojira, Testament, Death Angel.
You gonna go one after Death Angel? Wow.
No. No. We're going opening. We're going opening. We're playing really short sets so everyone else can
There you go.
express themselves. That's it. That is it. Yeah, we won't take up too much time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you were talking about your cat. I saw that you're doing a cruise with Hate Sphere. And we have Peppy on the show, and we're like mid-interview, and one of our cats decides to plant himself. Like he just jumps in the middle of the table, and he was like,
Yeah, he photobombed our Hate Sphere interview.
Shall I don't know. What? Let me try and find Otis. He's a funny looking cat. Give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
got a funny looking dog. We don't have any funny looking cats down here right now.
Come on, Otis. Here he is.
He's not cooperating. Oh my lord.
Oh wow. Long hair. Look at that. Yeah.
You all right, mate? How you doing?
Like a stuffed animal.
He's a purebred something.
He's 3/4 exotic, and there was a Persian cat got his way early on. So that's why it's weird though, because all the other ones from his litter are all short hair and grey. And Otis come out with looking like Otis does, like sort of like the happy lion. So yeah, bless him. He's
we interviewed Dot Wiggin from the Shags, and the first thing she did was she pulled out her huge dog and said, "This is Herman." It looked like how she started the interview. What kind of dog was it? It's like a big pug or something. I was like, okay.
Well, the amount of times I'll be trying to do like press, and then all of a sudden his face just appears, and it's just like, go away. Like, so I've set up on a different ledge this time, so he can't get to it. But usually, and if I'm in work meetings, like his head will appear from behind me, and it's
our Calico does that.
Otis.
Yeah. Well, have you seen that video? Otis. She showed me a video today. It's on, I think it's on Instagram. It's just cats destroying everything. It's like, fuck your coffee, knocking this off.
Yeah.
And like whole shelf systems collapsing and stuff. It's
we even do, like, he does a segment on the show where we'll discuss classic vinyl, and he'll like get out the albums and show them off. This one he's doing AC/DC, and the Calico's right next to it. Like,
yeah, she photobombed that.
Yeah. He hasn't been too bad. He goes at like the mesh net, like the netting on my amp, but he's not a terrible cat, and like he doesn't. I've got friends who've got cats who are sick a lot, throw up like it's nothing, hairball like it's nothing. He doesn't, and thank God, because you know, so I don't want to walk into my house and there'll be sick fucking everywhere.
Well, we're hoping you guys will come over this way one day soon. Maybe we could get you over here for a festival, or.
I mean, that would be a dream. Like, obviously, like I think growing up over here, like there's always been that thing of like looking to the States, you know, like this whole new world like out there, and especially growing up as a kid, like Saturday morning, you'd get up and watch programs, and they'd have like the British adverts, like kids talking about their new toys, and you're like, and then the American kids adverts would start, and you'd be like, fucking hell, they have it bloody good over there, you know. I'm like, they have better toys than us. And obviously, you know, I get a bit older and that, and you kind of realize there's some mad stuff with the States, as there is everywhere.
Right.
But I mean, I've only done New York a few times, and obviously we did the album in New York, and we managed to have a few days off, and it was amazing. And there was like a cold snap when we were there, and I fucking weren't ready for that shit. Like the first 9 days, walking shorts, sunglasses, t-shirts, loving it, and then overnight, and we had to go to the MetLife to watch the New York Giants, and we were in a terrible state. I was just sitting there like I can't breathe. Like I think I'm going to die. And yeah, it got to about the last quarter, and I was like, we've got to go,
Yeah.
guys. Like this is too much.
Yeah. Have you
So
ever
yeah,
seen
I'd love.
there's videos, there's that documentary of when Maiden was touring in the 80s and they were always in the States on the huge bus tours. And if you look up
Man.
I mean, they went everywhere. They went Pittsburgh, they went Cleveland, they went Erie, you know what I mean? And I remember
Yeah.
like Bruce saying he was sick to death of Thursday night chicken casserole. So he went out to try to find fish and chips in the middle of Denver or something. It's just,
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
advise it.
I mean, I'm fine with you know, we've got some classic. You know, it's funny. I've got a lot of friends who from American bands who come over here and they're like, the fucking food, it's so shit. But I saw today like really good foodies are the guys in Trivium. They always seem to eat amazing food wherever they go. And they were posting today where they've been eating in the UK, and there are some good things, you know.
right.
But I'd love to, I'd love to tour the States. I think it would be, I'd have a great time. I feel like I'm made to go to America. You know, as you touched on what Maiden sort of did, I'd want that as well. That sort of thing of say we went out on 4 weeks with one band, I'd be like, I'd like to basically, can we get out straight onto another tour? Let's really go for it. Let's really fucking try and get that flag down over, you know, over in the States. And I mean, certainly, I mean, it's always the big thing. Can you break the States? You know. And I mean, I'd love that, mate. I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the tour, I'd go and walk the Appalachian Trail, and probably get lost and never be seen again. So that'd be fucking great. So
Yes. These things
Well,
happen.
you'd love Baltimore because it's only cold a little bit. We get a tiny bit of snow. Last year we didn't get any. So, and we're close, you know, you can get good seafood.
November to April's cold, and then everything else is warm.
okay, okay. Well, I mean, I was talking to a friend the other day, like actually someone who works at our label, and like, where would you love to just go to in America? And I'm like, God, a lot of places, and there's a lot of places I'm pretty sure I don't need to go. But fingers crossed, you know, something happens and I can, you know, be a tourist. I can go and play metal shows, and I can go and be a tourist and have a great time.
I hope you get to see like LA, because for English people to see those palm trees and all, it's really something. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to. One thing I'd really, if I was over there, so anyone watching, if I'm in the States and like Garth Brooks is playing or something, I need to fucking, I'll be sick for our show just to go and experience that. Like, that's a different thing. We don't have, he's not big in England, but he's big in Ireland, like megastar in Ireland.
right.
But I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Chris Stapleton. So that's like my thing. Like, I'll be the one listening to all like the fucking country radio shows. I'll be having a great time.
That's funny that you bring
I'll
that up.
be,
We were just talking yesterday that Jimmy Buffett just died, and we were just,
yes.
whether you like his music or not, what kind of empire he built, you have to admire it. I mean, you know.
It's weird. Like I saw that woke up yesterday and I saw somebody posted about it. But again, it's like another. It's weird how like so many sort of massive mega stars there are in the States. And over here it's weird, but because you're so big over there that it's like there's massive bands in the States that never tour here, just tour America, do all the main cities, then the small cities, and then the smaller ones take a year off and they back out of doing it. Like 3 days grace. Is it 3 days
Oh, yeah.
grace? In in the UK, like I don't even know if they've ever played here. But you know, over in the States, they seem to be massive, and it's just like it's that sort of. I always like think it's like army radio, like military radio music, like Five Finger Death Punch sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
They're
what I
huge
mean?
over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that they are big here, but I think in the States it's like they seem to be mega. but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to lay down. It's funny, like I certainly on this album, we've done a lot more stuff with American podcasts, radio shows. Like 2 days this week, I've got 2 days of just talking to American radio, and I'm just trying to plant plant the flag for when I'm over there. Forget the band. I just want to go and see and experience and become American as fuck.
Okay,
That's
got it.
what I'm gonna do. So
We've got two big festivals. We got Maryland Death Fest and Hell in the Harbor was new last year. So that's always a thought too. It's like a big 3-day thing.
Yeah.
Hell in the Harbor, was that? Ah,
That was just
is
this
there a
past
big?
May.
Oh, because there's Metal Injection did a festival, right? Metal Injection. Oh, someone, yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's
it's weird.
there's so many now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, being in Europe, we have tons, and but yeah, I'm up for it. So I'll say fingers crossed and everything, and we
Absolutely.
can get over there.
Yeah, and I've got a
So
shirt coming from you guys. I had to get the one that with the skull and the raven between Edgar Allan Poe and the Ravens. I had
yeah,
to pick that one.
Yep.
no, it's cool. We're getting more stock in this week actually. So we like our CDs and vinyls sold out everywhere. So it's taken like 2 weeks for us to get new merch in. Like it's been a bit. I mean, there's loads of different places you get it, but we also have our own band run merch place as well, and which I deal with, and it's kind of taken me by surprise. So yeah, we're going to be sending out a lot of stuff. So yeah,
That's good.
I'll
Really good.
thanks for picking up something.
We're glad to hear it. It's good to hear you.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to. I'm hoping it's going to be here. We got a couple concerts later this month. We got Cavalera and Exhumed. So
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I'll
the
be happy to show
Cavalera's
it
doing
off
the
there.
first. Yeah, sweet. Well, fingers crossed that it does get to you. You know, obviously things leaving here since we did that amazing thing and left Europe. Everything seems to be such a fucking nightmare now. I know you're not European based, but God, trying to get stuff to Europe, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
it's a nightmare. So
I know.
that's another wise thing we done.
Well, thanks for doing this. I hope all your teams win today. You know.
No, I think we actually lost, I think, in the last minute. So I'm scared to turn my phone on because all my mates are going to be fucking digging me out.